Welcome to Everything's Not Black and White with your hosts, Lala and Brian.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. We are so excited to have someone who is very near and dear to our hearts. He's a part of our family, and he has made our oldest son very happy. So we love that also. But he's also a young man with a purpose, has a beautiful beauty business, and he loves to mentor and teach. And so we're going to talk to him a little bit about what that entails in his everyday life. And so we want to welcome to the EMBW podcast, Daniel Stoffel. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Yes, you did.
I was like, I just call him Daniel. I'm like, I don't think I actually knew his last name.
I know. It's not a common last name, I feel like. And I feel like a lot of people have a hard time with it. I've been called so many crazy things. But no, you got it right. That's perfect.
Is it German origin?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe that's it, because I'm very good with the Deutsch.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm not really very good. I took 2 years in high school, which was literally 35 years ago. So,
okay.
I mean.
More than me. I've never taken any, so.
Das ist gut, ja. I can say that. So that means that's good. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Hey, that's okay.
Well, we're excited to have you on the show, darling.
I'm excited to be here.
We've been watching you grow your career, grow yourself. And so it's going to be kind of fun to introduce our audiences to you.
Yes.
So we want to just kind of first question, give a little bit of can you give us a little bit of about yourself, some of your background, and what got you into the beauty industry in the first place?
I think that a lot of people, when I talk to them about how I got here, a lot of people are like, what originally sparked it? And I'm like, honestly, I've always had it. And it has been ever since I can remember. I've wanted to be involved in some way in the beauty industry, whether it be at one point I was thinking it was going to be fashion. At one point I thought it was going to be like interior design. I didn't really know what it was, but I knew it was going to be creative, and I knew I was going to be putting art out there.
Yes.
So pretty much from a young age, very quickly I gravitated towards hair and anything that just looked like hair. I remember specifically my mom and dad always being like, whoa, like how are you always just going to the hair? It's like, I don't know why, I don't know what it was. It was just, I was always just so infatuated. And so ever since I was little, it was like Barbies, and then it was specifically like the styling heads. I don't know if you remember those.
Oh, I remember those very well. Yes.
Those were just everything to me. I could not believe, it was just like, that was the greatest thing of all time.
Yes.
So that was where it started. And then it tiptoed into me going to like elementary school and finding friends, and then we would do their hair, and then junior high, and I would do my own hair. And then leading into high school, when I went to beauty school, did beauty school in high school, and then it's just been history ever since.
Yes.
So it's really interesting when people say that, or when they ask me, what originally sparked it. And I don't know exactly what it was. I just know that there's been this pull or this drag inside of me ever since I was, I guess, had any autonomy, honestly.
Yeah, that's
which I think is
lovely.
cool.
I think that's wonderful. I mean, I think a lot of kids, we grow up, I know for me, I watched a lot of movies and television. And so when I saw PBS Jacques Cousteau, I wanted to be a marine biologist, right? I saw the first Indiana Jones movie, I wanted to be an archaeologist, till I found out that's boring as shit. Like, people think it's so glamorous. It's not a movie. It's like taking a toothbrush and brushing rocks for like years before you find something. I mean, it's
manual
crazy.
labor is not your thing.
It is not my thing. Thanks for recognizing. Those are facts. But I do remember those Barbie styling dolls, and that was something that was really important to me, even with hair. I think a lot of times I'm laughing because I was thinking about yesterday a black hair care. I was watching a black hair care show, and they were talking about sitting in your grandma's kitchen with your flat iron, or it wasn't a flat iron, and it was just a hot comb, and them doing your hair and pressing your hair every day, or especially for Sundays when we had to go get ours gussied up.
Yep.
And then being afraid to sweat it out, because that's the thing. Because
then it's going to get,
yeah, you done spend all that time getting that thing fried, dyed, laid to the side. Now the water's not my friend.
No.
Fried, dyed, laid to the side.
Yes, baby.
That sounds like a title for the show.
Something like that. Something like that. Yes. So when was your first actually foray into getting paid to do hair? Because I know you said you obviously been doing it a lot with your friends at school and those kind of things, but when did you have your first professional moment?
I think the first professional moment was honestly when I was in school, when I was in beauty school, and my main cosmetology school teacher had asked me to present to our entire class how to do a particular skill. And I remember to this day, because it was literally just like a basic like one length haircut, but it was like I was so serious when I was there, and I was like, I'm going to do this, and this is my career, and I'm going to be so serious about this, and nobody else was taking it that serious. And I just remember sitting up there and being like, wow, I was chosen out of like 30 of the students that were in my class to do this. Granted, it was high school, so I feel like, when you're in beauty school in high school, not everybody's always, present. But that was probably like something in my brain went off, and I was like, this is a light bulb moment. I am going to have a stamp in this. I'm going to be able to do this in the industry. Fast forward to, I think, my first career, like true career move. One of my friends from high school she was presenting something for work. I can't remember what it was, but it was a presentation. And she had asked me specifically to do her hair for the presentation. And I was like, me? Like, you're choosing me? And I didn't really even have I didn't have a super close relationship with this woman, but I must have said or done something in her presence where she was like, that's the guy I want to do my hair for this presentation. So probably that. And then she paid me. So I was like, okay, yeah, of course I'll do this.
Yeah. But what an honor, because I think, something you said struck me really, that I feel like it's a lot what I do as well. You get so passionate about what you're doing that people can see it. Right?
Yes.
It's just like they are drawn to it. So she tried, like she said, she saw something in you and was like, he's serious about this. Like, this is not just some play thing. Like, this is his life.
No,
his
this
career.
is no joke. Yeah, this is what's inside of me, and this is what I need to be doing for the world.
Yeah, so I love it. So you are part of a family business.
Yes.
Which I think is always so interesting because, obviously what we do, LBB, is also a family business, which, there's some unique, nature around working with your family.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. So can you talk about what are some of the unique challenges, but also some of the unique rewards that come with working in a family business?
Yes. I'll start with the rewards because I think that the rewards greatly outweigh like the cons. One of the greatest parts about being a part of a family-run business, specifically one that I created, the people that you're working with, and I know that this isn't the case for everybody, but in my particular case, I'm blessed for this to be the case. Family is blood. No matter what goes on, no matter what's being said, no matter what's being done, there's something that's going to really hold you guys together.
Yeah.
Even if there's a disagreement, even if there's a different vision, it's a lot easier just to keep a hold of each other because I think sometimes when you are not, partnering up with family, it might be a little bit easier to walk away, because you don't have to face them afterwards. There's so many people who rely on us to be a solid system, and therefore we have to be a solid family. I think one of the greatest perks is there is so much accountability, and it is personal, but it's not too personal,
right.
I think we've done a really good job at separating the two. But another perk I would say is specifically with my sister. She's also a hairdresser. And I think that growing up with having her be in the industry with me, we've really been able to hold each other up and support each other, teach each other, and have each other's backs. And I don't know if every single person in the beauty industry has had that opportunity to have somebody who's so tightly knit with you to support you.
Yeah,
and I think that is probably the greatest thing.
For sure.
I guess negatives, or I guess I should say not negatives, but something that is maybe a little bit more challenging with family business is the personal side of things, where if there is a disagreement, sometimes it can be difficult because you don't want to step on toes, but you also want to get your point across.
Yes.
And you see a greater image, and maybe because you might have creative differences, maybe the other person doesn't see that bigger image.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of walk that tight line where it's like, I'm not trying to be offensive, but I want you to understand what my point of view is.
Yes.
On top of that, what is also sometimes difficult, sometimes I feel that because it is family run, there can be instances where people might feel like they're excluded from that.
Sure.
And I don't ever want that to be the case. I'm the kind of person who's like, I want you to be as involved as you'd like to be.
Yeah.
Especially because I want to create a space where everybody's just free and safe and they can be who they are and they can work in their career the way that they want to. So I don't ever want people to feel excluded from it, but I can understand from the outside perspective, if you are not technically a part of my family, how that could possibly feel that way. So I do my very best to bring people together and make sure that they are included.
Yeah. And so you mentioned your sister. So you and your sister, and then who else is a part of the family business with you?
My brother-in-law is also involved. And it's funny because he's a little bit more of the brains behind the business part or the business aspect. He is not a hairdresser. My sister and I both are. But besides that, it's just the three of us. It's pretty easy because I feel like the two hairdressers and then the business guy, it's good.
Yeah.
We got a great vision and we got a good foundation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I love that. So when it comes down to if somebody has to prioritize the decision, who's the final decision giver when it comes down to what you need?
Typically, I have found that it's usually my sister and I, because I think that we're working in the space and we see the vision and we understand the career a little bit better. He more so understands the numbers, if that makes sense.
Yes,
so
totally.
Definitely, I think if we can figure out a way to make the numbers work, it's usually my sister and I.
That's great. We have a similar thing. I just tell Brian what numbers to put in, and I make all the decisions.
Hey, there you go.
At least you'll say that, though.
Don't let her fool you.
He has just as much input. He is definitely my behind the scenes guy. Like I'm the face of the business, but he's definitely one of the things that keeps things running. Because I realized very soon I can't wear every single hat, and nor should I.
Right.
So you need people who have expertise that's very different than yours to help kind of blend it all out.
I want to wear all the hats, but I know I can't.
Yeah. No, you don't need to because you can burn yourself out. And then also you lose the joy because right now, when we're hearing you talking, you have so much passion about hair and making people feel beautiful. So it's like if you had other things that were taking you away from that, you would probably love it less. So you want to keep that passion for sure. How has your identity as part of the LGBTQIA community shaped how you do hair, how you run your business, or how you live your life fully and out loud?
Can I get really personal?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think this kind of cycles back to when I had mentioned earlier, from a really young age, I've always been interested in doing hair. I think that probably, and I think I was unaware at the time, but when I was younger, I really definitely knew that I had different interests than the other kids around me. I have a younger brother as well, and he's about 2 years younger than me. And so we're pretty close in age, and I had realized pretty quickly that we had very different interests. And I was like, okay, I'm a little bit more feminine. I'm a little bit more interested in the standard feminine things. And I noticed that it was just different. And I don't think I knew what it meant. I don't think I knew what it was. I didn't think I needed to know what it was because I was very young. And then once I became a teenager, I really started understanding who I was. And I think from the time I was 16, which is when I came out, about 2 years prior is when I kind of was thinking, I'm a gay man. At 16, I really just think I was like, you know what? I am going to be me. And if that means that people are going to like it or dislike it, that's on them. It doesn't matter. Then from there, I really found out quickly that a lot of people aren't going to like me, especially from where I came from, because I came from a very just sheltered and religious background. And I am not against any type of religion. I believe that, you have the right to believe what you want to believe. But I really found that there was just not a lot of support for me in those groups. And so I decided to look the other way and try to find people who were going to support me because this is who I am. This is how the universe or God or whatever created me to be. And so I just learned very quickly that I had to be unapologetically myself, and I had to parent myself through this because there was going to be nobody else who was going to walk me through this. And so I think from about 16 on, I was like, you know what? I am going to have the audacity to be me, and I'm going to have the audacity to do what my life's calling is, and that is whatever it was in that moment is, what I would do. And so it tiptoed into me going to beauty school in high school. And then I started working behind the chair. And then I became successful doing that. And then I was like, well, I might as well have the audacity to open up my own business. And then I had the audacity to then bring on employees and then so on. So I think the biggest way that being a part of the LGBTQIA community has helped me with my business is it's given me the audacity to believe in myself. And it's given me the audacity to make sure that I help other people believe in themselves.
I love that.
That's great.
That resonates so well with me because I feel a lot of the same ways. Black, Southern, fat. I'm fine using the fat, F-A-T and the P-H-A-T because, honey, pretty hot and tempting all the time.
Absolutely.
Facts. Real fact. But I understand that I'm not in that circle of privilege. I have so many things that are not number one and number one prioritized. So I can definitely hear what you're saying about having that audacity to be your authentic self.
Yeah.
And that's why I left corporate and started my own business as well, because I just never found that acceptance that I could just be myself and it was enough. I know I'm enough.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's great. I love that you believe in that and stuff.
Yes. I think that one of the things that I always, I'm a mentor. I do a lot of mentoring in my salon, walk a lot of people through the industry. And I think one of the things that I always like to remind the people who are walking into the industry for the first time is you have to make this what you want it to be. Because if you're trying to emulate me or if you're trying to emulate somebody else, it's not going to work.
Right.
You have to be you and you have to do it your way.
Right.
Now, regardless of if you work for somebody, if you're an employee, or if you decide to do your own thing, it doesn't matter. People will smell your inauthenticity very quickly. So in this industry, especially when it's about being creative and about showcasing your art and helping people feel the best that they can, you need to be authentically yourself.
Yes, 100%. I love that so much.
Gosh, are you hired? Like, I need some support like that. My boss is a pain in the butt.
You ain't seen her get started yet. Listen. But I do love that idea. I think we're going to pull the thread there. You talk about mentorship and leadership. I want to know, first of all, who are some of the great mentors that mentored you, that helped you get to where you are? And then what is it about mentorship and leadership that just gives you that drive and passion?
I guess I could say my parents. I love my parents, but we have very different viewpoints and we have very different ideas of what success is. And I think one of the reasons why I try so hard to advocate for myself and to push myself forward is because I don't know if I've necessarily ever had a mentor in a way that would maybe be like the classic form of a mentor. But I think that is the reason why I love being one for other people. Because if I can help lead people through areas of work or life that I've worked myself through and I've been able to see the outcome on the other side, I think that helps my heart kind of like heal itself from not really having one myself, but also helping save other people from, I guess, like the disappointment or the sadness from trying things and them not working out. So I know that kind of sounds a little bit sad, but I've not really necessarily ever had one. And I have the conversation with a lot of my apprentices or my staff members coming through. I'm always say, I really wish I had one because I think things maybe could have been easier for me. But, that's just a part of my journey and that's my purpose. And there's a reason why I never really had one. So I know that's not really the answer that everybody wants to hear, but I kind of had to be my own mentor.
Yeah, that's okay. It doesn't matter what people want to hear. It's what's the truth, right? It's what's your truth. And I had the opposite experience. I had so many mentors that were in my life that watched me grow. And when I do make a mistake, it wasn't like they were beating me down for it. They were like, okay, you're human. Shake it off. What do we need to do differently now? What did you learn from that? And that helped me tremendously. So I saw you are more self-motivated, which I think is a beautiful thing, but not a lot of people have that. So I had both. I would say I'm still very self-motivated, but I also had a lot of people who reached out to me and helped me as a younger person. And it makes a big difference.
I don't know what it was or what it is about me, but I definitely think that I'm somebody who just has a lot of self-determination, a lot of self-control. I always joke with everybody who's around me, all my friends, my clients and stuff, about how I'm just really unwilling to let life get the best of me. Even when things are not great, because we all know sometimes things don't go well. I'll get down on myself for a second, but I'm like, it doesn't matter because you're going to learn something from this anyway. So you might as well just get up and keep it pushing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you have a mantra or any kind of affirmation you give to yourself to kind of when you start to get in that place where you're like, okay, I need to do something else to get myself out of this? Because when I look in the mirror, I'm like, you're a bad bitch. Get it.
Yeah, no, literally. So I am probably one of the, a mirror does not, I just love looking in a mirror. So, a mirror hates to see me coming. But I definitely am somebody who just looks at myself and I'm like, you are a bad bitch because, you're out here putting yourself out there. You're out here running a business. You have different products that you supply in your business. You are employing people. You were a leader. You are presenting your art to clients and putting yourself on social media. And you know what? If anybody doesn't have a nice thing to say about that, then I want to see them do it all. Because guess what? I'm out here at least trying and doing what I can do. And what I have found, I guess mantra-wise, is anybody who's doing less than you is really just going to bring you down. And people who are doing more than you aren't going to think that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
that's exactly right. It's usually somebody's inner fear for themselves that they project onto you is when they have so many negative things to say.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really their insecurities manifesting.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I never.
So keep that away from me.
Exactly. Be gone with that. Be gone with that. So I want to ask you about two questions,
Yeah.
in this current environment, right? As a business owner, especially ones in the beauty industry,
Yes.
with buying products and them costing products, because they probably come in from outside the United States sometimes.
Yes.
So we're dealing now with this whole tariff issue and a lot of instability, I think, with the market.
Correct.
So I want to understand some more about how you've been able to weather that so far and what
Yes.
strategies you're putting in place. And then on the other side of that, there's also a lot of political and social commentary about being LGBTQIA, and specific transgender people are under attack right now.
Yes.
How are both of those things impacting you? I guess we'll ask both personally and professionally.
I am full-fledged salon, essentially. So we're doing specifically color and extension services, but we do a lot of things outside of those parameters, but mainly color and extensions. And so all of this stuff is expensive. Beauty supplies are through the roof right now. If it's one thing about people, we are infatuated with beauty. And it doesn't matter what kind of beauty, it doesn't matter what type of product, it doesn't matter what we're doing. As human beings, if you look through history, we have always and will always be infatuated with beauty. And so because of that, these beauty companies have taken full advantage of that. And they're like, if we're going to be supplying a product, it's going to come at a cost, right? Which I understand. I understand business. I understand, the supply and the demand. But right now, if there's anything that I could say, is that beauty supply products are very expensive right now. And specifically if they are not manufactured here in America, which I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but the majority are not made in America.
Yeah, I do know that. But that's a good thing to tell people because I don't think people understand that.
Yes, most are actually either European or some type of just not American, honestly.
Yeah.
And so I feel like something that's very difficult sometimes for people to understand is that there might be a store here in America or in the States, or there might be like a headquarters here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's where it's coming from.
Right.
One of my main color lines that I use is from France. And I don't exactly know right now what the additional tariff cost is importing things from France into America, because I feel that every other week it does change, which makes it very difficult to be able to give consistency to clients, because in order for the business to stay afloat, we have to make a profit.
Right.
And if we don't know what our margins are, we can't create a profit, right? Or at least we can't create an honest profit.
Right.
It's very important to me, and it's very important to my salon that we are very transparent and very honest.
Right.
So unfortunately, with that, when that stuff happens, we have to create a set price for things, even if they are above or below what that extra tariff charge would be. That's one side of it. I also do a lot of extensions. I have my own extension line. And one thing about that's very interesting is it is a different product than color, if you will, because it's a human product. So there are hair manufacturers all over the world.
Right.
And depending on where they're coming from, there's a different tariff charge on it, right? So where I specifically source mine are typically across Asia. And right now, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that there's a 20% tariff charge from anything that's imported from China right now into the States. And something that we actually just recently had to do is I had to raise my price on my extensions because of that charge. I wouldn't be able to continue to provide the quality extensions to my clients if we didn't do that. And my personal opinion is I hate that, because I don't believe that beauty should have to be breaking the bank.
Right.
But in order to create a successful business, I have to be able to make a profit off of it.
Right. Right.
And that's where that split is. Personally, I don't like it. For my business and professionally, I know I have to.
Right.
So it becomes very challenging for me sometimes because I'm like, I don't want to implement things that aren't going to help the community, but I have to help myself so that I can help the community.
Right.
So
It's a slippery slope. It's hard.
I don't know if that really answers the question very well, but
Your truth is your truth, honey.
I think that is something that we've had to navigate a lot the last year. And it's been difficult because every other week it seems that there's something different being implemented or taken away. So it becomes very challenging to be transparent and honest with our customers and our clients because we don't know.
Right.
We don't know, and we don't know why.
Right.
And it sucks that it depends on what side of the bed one man in this country gets up out of.
Right.
Whether or not your tariffs are going to go up or down, that's a ridiculous concept that you guys have to fight through. And I hate I hate that you have to do that because it was never like that before.
Yep.
And the fact that you got to go through that for any small business out there, it's just a terrible tragedy.
Right.
Yep.
It does.
In 2020, right before the pandemic hit, I believe I was paying about $6.75 for a tube of color.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm paying about $15.
Oof.
So in 5 years,
Wow.
it's pretty much doubled.
Yeah.
And then depending on where it's imported from, there's an additional $2, $3, $4 charge on top of that.
Wow.
So a tube of color could possibly run you $17,
Yeah.
whereas 5 years ago it was running you almost $7.
Yeah.
If there's something that I could maybe just express to clients or anybody who is, looking at beauty services and wondering why they are priced the way that they are, it's because your service may have gone up in price, but your overhead in order to cover the cost of what you want done has quadrupled
Right.
in
Right.
5 years,
Right.
So,
Right.
and that's just within my time doing hair. I've only been in the industry for 12 years, so I can only imagine somebody who's been in the industry for 40 or 50,
Right.
and they're looking at these prices like, why is it this cost? And why does it cost this much to carry the overhead of the supplies? So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people don't understand from the business perspective. It's like things are just going up so much. Like, yeah, but there's so many of those things. So you're paying for the logistics of it all, and like you said, there's certification of products. So that's an added feature for you.
Yeah.
The time it takes to order something and for it to come over, especially coming from overseas, is a lot too. So there's so many factors in that. I appreciate your honesty to try to let your clients know, but sometimes even if it is what it is.
It is what it is. And that's something that I try to explain to my staff and my stylists a lot, is because a lot of times I think in this industry, you're working with a lot of creatives, and a lot of creatives seem to be, at least in my experience with myself, we're very emotional and we're very attached to the people we work with and the people we work on.
Oh, yeah.
And you do not want to make things harder on the people who are supporting you, because you are so thankful and you're so grateful that they have supported you and that they believe in your business and they believe in your success. And so when you then turn around and say, I'm sorry, I have to charge more for X service, what we try to do is we always try to give more in the service, right?
Yeah.
So it may be costing a little bit more, but we try to go even more above and beyond than what we were before. Right. So we try so hard to have there be a positive in it, but it is very hard to have those positives when it seems that it's purposefully being made harder.
Yeah. I think you're onto something, though, because I think a lot of times about time being very expensive, and because it's finite, right?
Yes.
You can get more of anything else in this world except time. So I do love the concept that you're saying, while we have you and while we're spending time with you, we're going to give you the most impactful time.
Absolutely.
That way it feels much more of a value
for
them versus just like, we had to charge you this, but we're still giving you crappy service. No, we're gonna take good care of you.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, and I don't know if this is something that you've ever experienced when you've gotten your hair done before, but one of the things that I hear all the time, whether it be from current clients that I've serviced and their previous experiences before I was servicing them, or just new people that I still have coming in periodically, it doesn't seem that a lot of hairdressers take the time. And I think that is just something that I refuse to not do. I will absolutely give you my time. I am not a stylist who works on multiple people at a time. I am not a stylist, or I'm not a salon owner that teaches that.
Right.
I think that there can be a lot of success in working for the business, right? You service more than one person at a time. But personally, what I have found with, my ADHD brain is my quality deteriorates if I'm not focusing on one thing.
Right.
And if I'm not focusing on one person, because I'm too busy, I'm scatterbrained, I'm all over the place, and then I can't give my full undivided detail to my paying customer, right? So one of the things I've always been told is it's like there's not enough time being spent on my hair, right? I'm feeling like I'm in a factory and I'm getting brushed off to the next stylist, or I'm getting brushed off to the next thing. And that is not ever something I want any of my clients to experience. I'm not sure if you've experienced that yourself, but...
Oh, I've been a part of the cattle call, is what I call it, the cattle call. And usually your appointment time is one thing, but when you actually get started, it's like 45 minutes, maybe even later or whatever. One time I went back 3 times. She's like, can you just come back in 30 minutes? Can you come back in 30 more minutes? Come back. I said, girl, I'm done.
Yeah, no,
if I'm coming back and it's an hour later than I planned, and now you still not ready for me, I said, we done. We good.
Yes, that is something that I think is very important for business owners in general, I don't even want to say just beauty professionals, but business owners in general, you need to absolutely be aware of people's time. And I think that goes into a whole nother topic, but I think specifically for business owners, if you're wanting to build relationships with customers, you need to be able to be respectful of them and their time. And just a hot tip, I have found personally that when you respect people's time, they respect yours.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're not always running behind or you're not always bouncing all over the place, typically they will not either.
Right.
Obviously, there's those times where, time gets away from you or, traffic or, emergency, whatever.
Right.
But I will never be the stylist who is brushing people back every 30 minutes because, no, you booked this time slot. I have reserved this for you. And you know what? Going back to mentorship, I know that I'm kind of jumping around here.
You're fine.
There is one thing that my dad did tell me when I was growing up. I don't remember how old I was, but my dad is very, very, very serious. And he's specifically serious about respecting people. And I remember he looked at me and he was like, if you are going to spend your time doing something, do it well. And I think for some reason that just really just resonated with me. And why are we wasting our time? If we're not going to do something and do it well, if we're not going to be respectful of people, if we're not going to be on time, if we're not going to be putting quality work in, why are we doing it?
Right.
What's the point?
Exactly. It's a waste. 100%.
That sounds like a great guy because I remember giving Jason that same advice when we were building a deck. I'm like, let's not take shortcuts.
No.
Let's build it the way it needs to be built. You want a solid foundation because you want to be able to use it for 20 plus years.
Yes.
And that's honestly the way customers, you want to build that foundation with them so they're repeat customers. We've had that with our own business.
Yep. I'm definitely more of what I classify myself as like a lived-in hair colorist, which basically just means that your color is going to grow with you over several months, right? So you're not coming in every 4 weeks for a retouch. You're basically letting it grow into itself. So one thing that I've always found is that people really appreciate the fact that they can grow into their color because the longevity is there.
That's a value.
And the quality is long lasting versus every 4 weeks they're coming in for a retouch. Granted, lots of, people come in for those retouches because that's just what's required for certain services.
Sure.
But, a lot of times people tell me, this just looks so good for 5 months. And I'm like, well, quality.
And you're meeting people where they are because for some people that might be what they need. And then you're also providing other things for other people what they need too.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Well, what are you hopeful for? You're looking into the new year coming, 2026, exciting things on the horizon for all of us because my word is manifestation.
Period.
For 2026, we're manifesting all the good things. So what are you excited about looking forward to in the future here?
Growth. Whether that be for myself personally or for my business, something that I am always wrestling with myself with is how can I find my weak spot and how can I make it stronger? That goes into even just me, starting out in the beauty industry. I remember when I was first starting out, there's a particular service where we are toning people's hair. And for some reason, when I was starting out in the industry, that was the hardest thing in the world for me to grasp. Typically, toning is more of a transparent color. So it's going to be more of a reflect in the color versus like a true pigment. And so it's very easy to mess up the nuance. You get the wrong reflect, right? And so that was just always very difficult for me. And I remember starting out after graduating beauty school being like, this is going to be something that I am a master at.
Yes.
And so tiptoeing into current day, one of my weak spots, I would say, is my ability to allow myself to trust other people and to allow other people's opinions to be equivalent to mine, I guess. I think I'm a little bit hard-headed, especially when it comes to my business because I care so deeply about my business. And so what I've been working on the last several months is really taking feedback from my staff, really taking feedback from my clients and trying to find those weak areas where we can improve. So growth for sure. I would also really love to actually expand my business and hire a few more people. And I would also like to mentor a few more people as well. But also hopefully expand some of our products, expand my hair extension line, that kind of thing. But I guess growth is probably my word, I would say, for 2026, whether it be personal or for my business. I just feel like that is the place where I'm at right now. I'm already thinking about my 10-year plan. I'll be 30 next year. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to be by the time I'm 40. So just growth, I think.
I love that. I think that's wonderful.
I can say you're well ahead of the curve. The fact that you're able to identify those weaknesses that you have and say, hey, this is what I want to improve upon.
I try.
That's the biggest first step you can take right
Yeah,
now. Just have an
absolutely.
acknowledgement of it.
Knowledge and the willingness.
Yeah.
Because people can acknowledge stuff and do nothing with it.
Yes. I think one of my toxic traits is I am just hyper self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it's great because it allows me to be able to see from the outside perspective a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But also, too, I think it does eat me away a little bit sometimes because I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's a million things I'm trying to figure out and I'm trying to handle. And it's just like there's so many different ideas and thoughts creeping in.
Yep.
But I'm like, just be quiet. We got to focus on this and we'll get it done and then we'll move on to the next.
That's right. One at a time. One at a time.
One thing I didn't hear you say is the actual name of your salon. You want to mention that and let our listeners hear about possible links where they could probably get in touch with you?
I know. I have this toxic trait where I, for some reason, like to be really humble. So my salon is West Oak Salon. It's on Waterloo Street in Canal Winchester, downtown. We have been in business for 8 years, and I've been an owner for 6. Coming up on I believe our 9-year anniversary in January.
Nice.
And a really fun fact that I just recently learned is that the majority of salons don't make it past 5 years.
Wow.
So we are almost doubling that, which
That's
is really
amazing.
great. Thank you. And on top of that, we have West Oak Salon Hair Extensions, which is a little side business that we do. We do a lot of extension work. And so having that hair on hand allows people to be able to have access to hair very easily. It's West Oak Salon Hair Extensions, so pretty easy. It's just West Oak Salon with West Oak Salon Hair Extensions. And that's pretty much what our social medias are as well. You can find us pretty much anywhere, whether it be Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or wherever you guys are at.
Awesome.
Wherever you are, we are. So,
Love
And for
that.
our broader audience that don't know where Canal Winchester is, that is Southeast Columbus, Ohio.
That's wonderful. Well, this has been such a great conversation, Daniel.
Yes.
It's like I adore you, as you know already, and just this hearing more about your background and what drives you with your passion is just so beautiful. So thank you for sharing it with us and for our listeners.
thank you for having me.
Of course. And Brian, if people want to get in touch with us, how do they do that?
You can email us at EMBW Podcast, or you can follow us and like us on Facebook, and we'd be happy to hear from you.
That's right. Well, that's all the time we got for today, folks. Thank you, Daniel, again. We love you and appreciate you so much.
Thanks, Daniel.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.